Hey everybody, Darth Bryboy here, and this little video has been one of my most viewed videos, not one of my most popular videos. I want to make that a clear distinction because people think a random point and shoot video is a tech review. I never said I was a tech reviewer, never said I had the fanciest setup, a surround setup, or a Dolby Atmos setup. I have a shit ton of disc playing equipment, gaming equipment, streaming equipment hooked up to one TV with 5 inputs via a ton of switch boxes that are HDMI and composite. Fortunately, the TV I have still has composite. So the composite video switch boxes that I have still work, but that's not the point of this video. Oh, and heads up, if you're a hamster owner, and if you have a complaint with my hamster's cage, I am going to be getting her a new cage very soon. So I want to throw that out there in case my fellow hamster owners watch this video or stumble across it. Anyway, back to this video. The Sony UBP X800M2, 3 years later. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. Yes, it would be strange butchering the name of a piece of equipment that I've owned for 3 years, but shit happens. This thing has simultaneously been one of the best and one of the worst pieces of tech that I've owned. Why is it one of the best? Well, this thing has Dolby Vision, and I'm gonna get to the importance of Dolby Vision when I tell you the negatives. The negatives. This hunk of junk, in some instances, has had issues freezing. Doesn't matter what type of disc I played. Doesn't matter if the fucking disc had disc rot, had a little bit of dust, or was perfectly clean with no issues. This thing would freeze randomly, and it kept fucking freezing up no matter what disc I put in. We're talking 4K, we're talking Blu-ray, we're talking DVD. This fucking thing froze on... I'm gonna bring the DVD it froze on because I vividly remember this. It froze on this fucking 2015 reissue of Matrix 1. This has a old DVD master on it, okay? As stated before, this is a 2015 release. Alright, no disc rot, no problem. I got it for $7.50, not sure that's relevant. Why do I remember getting it for $7.50 at Target? I don't know, but that's what my long-term memory said to remember, so fuck it. Old DVD, shouldn't have a problem. Fucking froze on some scene with Agent Smith. Was doing an Avengers Marathon in 2020. Froze then. At the time, I thought, oh, that's probably just a one-off, no issue. Then the freezing problem kept happening. Sometimes, to be fair, it would freeze on a disc that had disc rot. If it had a really bad disc rot, I had to chuck that fucking Blu-ray in the trash. Let me tell you what Blu-ray it was that had that fuck up. Toy Story 1. If you don't know this, Toy Story 1 is my favorite movie of all time. How much do I love that movie? When I was a kid, I wore out a VHS tape of it. Never in my life would I have thought a tape might surpass a Blu-ray, a really advanced Blu-ray, in years of functioning. There's no other way I can put it. But that's just a Blu-ray with disc. What about Blu-rays without disc rot? So, this fucking thing would keep freezing constantly, and it was getting so bad that I considered buying a new 4K player. Now, if you're wondering, I still have my Samsung 4K Blu-ray player. What the model number is, I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll put the model number, whatever the fuck the model name is, in the description if you want a 4K Samsung player. Like, if you want that one, I don't know why. That one's like a very bare bones 4K Blu-ray player. I got it when I was just getting into 4K. Now, if you're wondering which one of these is better, the Sony or the Samsung, Sony's better. The Sony is much better in terms of what it can do, what it can do on my TV specifically. I have an old Vizio 4K smart TV that I've had since 2015. The HDR on it isn't the greatest, but transitioning from the shit that irritated me about this player, which was it constantly fucking freezing, to what I think, at least as of recording this video, has been the savior of preventing this thing from going to some shop that sells old hardware like disc players or CD players. There's a shop in my neighborhood that I could probably just give this to, and I would probably get maybe $200 some hopefully off of it if I wanted to sell it. I finally thought, after looking at forums, after considering maybe spraying some compressed air in it to get possible dust out, because maybe it was an airflow thing, maybe it was overheating. Turning on Dolby Vision has made this thing a completely different beast. My 4K Blu-rays look stunning. What's the difference between the regular Blu-ray and the 4K? Frankly, I'm not sure. I haven't done enough tests to do an accurate side-by-side comparison. However, turning on Dolby Vision has stopped the freezing. And I am so happy for that. To be fair, I've got 5 devices that can play Blu-rays. However, I've only got 2 that can play 4K. And the one 4K one that I've had since 2020 is a piece of equipment I want to keep. What I'm also learning from watching a YouTuber called Films at Home, who is much more thorough about this technical shit than I ever will be. I consider myself pretty knowledgeable about the tech I have. I'm a guy who, despite having various pieces of equipment that play Blu-rays, I love having a piece of equipment that can just be a one and done. For a long time it was my PS3, that was my main Blu-ray and DVD player. Then I got a Sony region-free Blu-ray player where the picture quality was kind of though to be fair, maybe it was the HDMI cable in retrospect. That was a temporary good enough Blu-ray player. Then I got my Samsung, which was supposed to be my one and done. Then it had this signal issue bullshit, and I had been dealing with that since 2018, 2019, maybe since I got my TV repaired. So after I got my TV repaired, I was having all this crap where the Samsung player was just cutting out when it was displaying a 4K resolution. And I'm like, I've had it. I'm getting a new one. So that's where the Sony came in. And I wanted the Sony to be the one and done, where I could just keep it on my main 4K HDMI setting and it would just work for almost every disc I have, minus the few HD DVDs, the 4 video CDs I own, and some region-locked content that of course will be played through the region-free player. But the issue was the shit that I'd mentioned before, and I didn't want to get rid of something that cost me, what, $248 plus shipping and handling. I wanted to make this thing work because it's got so many other things I love about it. I love how it upscales the movie. I'll give you a prime example. I was watching my 3-disc version of Avatar. This was my DVD version that I gave to my folks. The DVD upscaling on this Sony player was fucking amazing. It wasn't perfect. I still could tell it was a DVD. But the fact that it upscaled it so good that I could barely tell with my glasses, right? And I'll say this, a good DVD master, when it's done right, will hold up to being upscaled to 4K with a good piece of equipment that can upscale it right. The Sony player did that. It did it with Avatar, which had 3 different cuts jammed on to 2 different discs. The reason it did that was because you had the theatrical cut of Avatar, the re-release cut of Avatar, and the extended cut of Avatar, and they split those onto 2 discs. And the upscaling made me go, holy shit. For a DVD with 90 minutes, a 90-minute cut of a film jammed on it, and for it to look as good as it looks with these, like, I'm nearsighted, so when I put these on, I could tell picture quality difference very well. And I could barely tell with my glasses on. That's how good this thing fucking upscales. I just got done watching The Spy Who Loved Me on DVD. Alright, the reason I got the DVD still is because I love those Bond DVDs, because they got the DTS surround mix, and it just sounds, I don't know why the hell they stopped putting regular DTS on there. DTS HD is fine, but I am a fanboy of DTS, just good old-fashioned DTS 5.1. Fucking exquisite sound mixing. Just makes my stereo pop. It's fucking great. So, when it upscales a 2006 DVD master so well that when it's in close-ups, my brain goes, am I sure I'm not watching a Blu-ray right now? The mastering is that good. And it's being upscaled to 4K, so you would think it would look horrible. But it didn't, which is what surprised the hell out of me. And of course, it upscales a Blu-ray perfectly to 4K. Hell, I'm rewatching the theatrical cuts of Star Wars via the despecialized Blu-rays that I got in 2017. And it upscales 720p amazingly well. When I watch any of my Blu-rays, amazing upscaling. And of course, the 4K. What it does to convert the HDR to get it to SDR is amazing. How it does it. It makes the colors pop. It makes this 4K journey worth the investment and money I've put into. Just by turning Dolby Vision on. When Dolby Vision's on, oh my god. Even with my old 4K TV, holy shit. Why didn't I turn Dolby Vision on when I first got this machine? Is the only question I have for myself. Because I would have avoided so many technical problems, so much damn freezing over these 3 years. Had I just turned Dolby Vision on from the beginning. Had I just gone, okay, I don't have a Dolby Vision TV, but let's just see what all the hype is about. And I know when this thing inevitably dies, because the warranty's done, and I can't get it repaired, when I get a TV that hopefully has 5 HDMI ports and a composite video out, please have one that does that. I don't know why the hell TV manufacturers just like to gimp their TVs in terms of the HDMI ports, but they often do. I will be a very happy man when I get a TV with actual Dolby Vision, because holy shit, if Dolby Vision looks that good on a display that isn't capable of Dolby Vision, but just by the fact that it makes the colors pop and it gets rid of this weird, obvious conversion bullshit from HDR to SDR. The movie that made me go, holy shit, HDR is amazing. I know I misspoke when I fucking said HDR. I meant Dolby Vision. Was this. I'm amazed they had Dolby Vision on 4K Blu-ray back in 2017. I mean, does it even say? I'm not even sure this Blu-ray advertises that it's got Dolby Vision on it. But rewatching this movie on my Blu-ray player, it didn't freeze, didn't give me any technical issues. Played like a fucking movie that has no problems on the disc should. I'm saying no scratches, no disc rot, just a perfectly looking disc when you flip it over. It played like it should. What a concept. Thanks to just switching Dolby Vision on. I want to slap myself 3 years ago upside the head for not turning on Dolby Vision still. But hindsight is 2020. It's very ironic saying that considering I bought this player in 2020. But regardless, what's the conclusion I've had with the Sony UBP X800M2? It's a piece of equipment that has taken me on quite the journey. A journey that I'm glad I pushed through. I'm glad I never gave up on this machine. I'm a stubborn son of a bitch, so I'm like, I spent 200 something fucking dollars on this, maybe 250 with shipping, on this damn Blu-ray player. The other one I wanted was a Panasonic. I'm not gonna spend 400 fucking dollars on a Blu-ray player. I could get a PS5 or a fucking Xbox Series, whatever the fuck the new Xbox is called, for that money, maybe less. And I'm glad my stubbornness has seemingly paid off, because this thing, set up as is what I wanted from the very beginning. And to be fair, early on, like I'd say, first 5, maybe 6 months even, it was a fine piece of equipment. Until the freezing happened. When, of course, I just wanted to watch all 4 Avengers movies, and I'm like, why the hell did I just freeze at Avengers 1? Is my copy of Avengers 1 having disc rot? Like, what the fuck? And then after watching other movie on the same player, it was like, oh, it's not the discs most of the time, it's the player. And my brain goes, you have 4 other machines here that you can use. But my stubborn ass was like, no, I want to use my 4K one that I spent all this fucking money on. God damn it. And stubbornness paid off. Machine's working great. And right now, I'm overall happy with the purchase 3 years later, despite the bullshit. With that in mind, live long and prosper. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for just listening to my ramblings.